Guys, how's it going? It is April 7th, 2017. It's 6:09 p.m. So, this is going to be a totally different video. It has nothing to do with trains. It's got nothing to do with Run 8. It's got nothing to do with any of my hobbies. Um, it's got to do with what the hell just happened. Um, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on here because the truth is I don't know. I thought I knew what was going on before. Um, this is like, oh man, you know, last night I was going through and it was, we're getting into a weekend. Now, mind you, this happened on late, I guess it was Thursday evening. I don't watch television. I don't do anything else as as far as like mainstream media, anything like this. Most everything that I get, whether it be like Patriot Channel on Sirius XM, Breitbart, Infowars, I take it with a grain of salt, but it's not so much Infowars. Infowars is pretty good, especially Paul Joseph Watson. Paul Joseph Watson just released a video today. Now he's with Infowars, and I think it's spot on, but I also think Alex Jones may be onto something as well. They are both with Infowars. They are not in 100% agreement. Stefan Molyneux is against this. Somebody who's also been supportive of Trump. I'm not too sure about Lionel. I haven't got into that yet. This has just came up 11 minutes ago. I'm not even going to go into it. Um, so, anyways, we had the Syrian chemical attack. This was, I believe, at least the second one that took place. The first one was a proven false flag. There is a narrative out there with the mainstream media that is pushing this whole Russia's the boogeyman bullshit. Okay, is Russia perfect or is Putin perfect? No, but I think he's a pretty damn good leader, and I think it's a pretty damn good country, quite frankly. I got no issues with them and what they've and there's a coup that took place with this whole thing with uh, the Ukraine and Crimea, all that other garbage. It's like shut the hell up, okay? It's like this was a U.S. coup that was to overthrow a legitimate government. Rand Paul, okay, now he's talking about rice there. Here's the Infowars poll. Trump strikes Syrian airfield. View the results. There's his base right there. Now a lot of people are jumping right away. If you remember this whole thing with the weapons of mass destruction bullshit that took place and that got basically the United States and other countries into the war with Saddam Hussein. I remember when Canada was in with this whole stupid thing with Libya, with Muammar, with Gaddafi, and Gaddafi was loved in that country. There's so much crap that's so easy to put out here. Now, some of you might think, well, here's your crap right here is Infowars. Okay, well, fine. Alex Jones is not perfect. Alex Jones doesn't know when to shut the hell up sometimes and let the people he has on speak. What you got to watch for is the people he has on who has the information. Then you go to the information. So, anyways, the airstrike took place last night. My first instinct is, what the hell just happened? And let me see here. ugh, I'm still going through my channels. I first of all turn off the freaking news, okay? Because CNN's cheering this friggin' thing. If CNN's cheering this, this is the fake news. They're cheering this. What the hell is going on? Mainstream media is making, whoa, everybody's all happy because Trump attacked Syria because Syria was, Assad was attacking the children. That's what they want you to believe. I don't believe that. It's too. First of all, that's a false flag. And even Infowars and Alex Jones, everybody, they believe that it is a false flag. Paul Joseph Watson, same thing. False flag. It is a false flag. Because why would Syria do this? Why would Assad do this when he's winning the war against basically the militants, or quote unquote, basically it's ISIS, who, by the way, cheered this. This is the crazy thing. ISIS cheered this. Now, here's another thing you got to ask yourself. Well, why the hell isn't Russia, who's supposed to protect Syria, why aren't they? Why would Trump do that? It's one thing for Iran, big deal. I mean, who cares about Iran? I mean, they've had Iran, as the boogeyman for a long time. I'm not necessarily believing that either. My God, this is crazy. So this was 20 hours ago. It's Christopher Green. Sometimes he's right on, sometimes he's out to lunch too, quite frankly. Um, yeah, of course, there's a lot of talk about with World War III and all this other stuff. So, there's a lot of concerns about this. Now, the big theory right now, and say what you want about conspiracy theories or whatever the hell you want to talk about, or conspiracy theories is a nice little catchphrase that mainstream pundits or people who supposedly are journalists who basically are kiss asses attack people who are truthers and critical thinkers. Do I know everything that's going on in the world? Absolutely not. Because I got a real job to go to, I have a family, and I have my hobbies. So I don't have time to be a journalist. But I can tell you right now, I'm pissed off because I don't know what the hell's going on. I wasn't worried about the election. If Trump didn't win, no big deal. I supported Trump. I'm glad he won. I'm still saying it's better than having that other bitch in there. Bernie Sanders, whatever. I mean, yeah, he was screwed too, but still, no. Oh, man, this is nuts. You've got Ron Paul, or Rand Paul as well. Ron Paul, yeah, I like Ron Paul. Straight shooter. Less intervention. Deal with the issues. Less spending. I like that libertarian. Stefan Molyneux, he's right on. I agree with him 90, I would say 95% of the time. He's not for this. But then again, these are a lot of people who have been very supportive of Trump only because it's so blatantly obvious how the elites are against him. But then all of a sudden he does something to either to appease, basically make the elites feel better, or to get them off his back or something, or I don't know, or he's being advised. He's got a lot of people. You check Paul Joseph Watson. I'm not going to go through all these videos. I don't want to get copyrights and all that other crap. So I'm just looking at some of the other videos that I'm looking at right now. Let me just go to Breitbart News now. See what's going on there. Well, that's nice and all. Okay, so Russian plans to upgrade Syrian air defense after U.S. Missile strike. There was another a terror attack in Sweden. Now here's the thing right here. Remember when Trump got accused? He was like, what was happening in Sweden? First of all, Trump is right when he said that he was wiretapped. He was. He was surveilled. It's obvious. Trump is right about a lot of things. He's wrong about this. If this is what he's doing, this is just wrong. Similarly, blast Trump's after airstrikes. Yep. Oh man. Rand Paul, I think it's unconstitutional. It is. McCain, the beginning of departure from failed policies of last 8 years. This guy's on the Republican side. He's a war hawk. Piece of crap. It's like a tangled web. You got these people who are in there who are basically, the Paul Ryans. I mean, Paul Ryan, you can look at him. It's just he's fake as fake ass can be, and he's the House leader. That's why they can't get anything passed. They can't get any leadership going on in there in Congress. World leaders praise strike on Syria. Yeah. Now see, one say I'm hearing two different reports. I'm hearing one that Putin did have advance notice, and then the other that he did not. So I don't know which one it is because it's coming from everywhere right now. I don't know which one. Let me just see this one here. And to say, oh yeah, well just go ahead and go to your trusty newspaper, go to your trusty whatever it is, and they're going to report whatever. They don't have a freaking clue. American nukes to South Korea. Okay, lovely. Republicans go home. Oh man. I mean, let's see what else we got. Anything. Please let me see some real info here. Savage, another guy I like. No war. You see where it's coming on? The right cannot agree on this because there we go. And I'm sure Gerald Celente is totally against this as well. I would say Lionel Media. Let me see if there's anything. I'm going to go ahead. This could get me copyright infringements or whatever. I don't care. Well, that was like... That was 1 day ago. This was like 24 minutes ago. I'm just gonna go into this for a few minutes. I want to see this.
I'm joined right now by my great friend and learned colleague, Caleb Maupin, who is world-renowned and an esteemed RT journalist and investigative reporter and the like. Caleb, welcome again, my friend.
I'm glad to be here, as always.
Let's start with wherever you would like. What's the first thing you want to say about yesterday's attack, bombing, retaliation, military action in Syria by President Trump?
Well, this point cannot be made enough, and you'll notice that my colleagues in the mainstream media are just glossing over it. This airfield that was hit, that was attacked with Tomahawk cruise missiles from our government, was an airfield that exclusively served the purpose of fighting against ISIS and al-Nusra terrorists.
Okay. This is where I'm hearing two stories now. That one I've heard of. Paul Joseph Watson also says this. Paul Joseph Watson is a major contributor at Infowars. He is right on most of the time, and he's saying what he is saying. So unless he's got a backup plan and he's got something damn well set up, ISIS, just for the record, was on the ropes, and Syria was the Syrian army was actually the ones fighting ISIS. They were literally getting the crap beat out of them. So why would Syria suddenly decide to do a chemical attack? There's no see that logic there doesn't make sense, which obviously makes this a false flag. Now, the other thing I've heard is, and this is actually through Alex Jones. Now, keep in mind, Lionel also avid supporter of a lot with what Alex Jones is saying. Paul Joseph Watson, you all these who are, first of all, Lionel is a political atheist. He voted for himself. He sees it both as crap, the left and right, and a lot of people believe that. I believe that there is still a lot of people who can be on one side and another politically, but it's so complicated. You can't just have a left and a right. You have to have these debates. This is why this whole left-right paradigm is a bunch of crap. But let me just hear what he's got to say here.
And in the aftermath of the attack on this airfield, the ISIS and the al-Nusra terrorists were emboldened, and they escalated their attacks. We essentially began operating as al-Qaeda and ISIS's air force today, and we attacked one of the primary air bases that was being used to fight against ISIS. If you're afraid of terrorism, if you're upset about 9/11, you can't be supporting what's going on right now. This is a pro-terrorist action. The Syrian government is fighting against ISIS. They've been fighting against them since they were formed. They're the primary enemy of ISIS on the battlefield. And we're not fighting them, we're fighting against the Syrian government. This is crazy. This is very, very, very crazy. And there's a lot of confusion about what's going on here.
Okay.
But we need to, yeah.
No, let's stop, because I'm with you 100%.
Sure.
First, some might say you should never be ever accused of, quote, emboldening ISIS or emboldening terrorism. They are sick. They are demented. What they're doing is obviously wrong. So I understand what you're saying. Strategically, though, let's make it very, very simple. When Syria, who played a tremendous role in attacking ISIS with the cooperation of Russia, around the Jarablus corridor for years, for a period of time that the mainstream media ignored altogether.
Yep.
When you remove and basically make dysfunctional, non-functioning the airstrip from which Syrian Air Force took off to fight ISIS, you therefore make it virtually impossible or much more difficult to fight ISIS. So what we did was we disenabled Syria to fight ISIS by attacking this.
Yes.
Now, is it true, is it not true that the Tomahawk missiles missed the runways themselves?
Well, we're hearing different reports about there.
Okay. So now you're hearing reports that they're missing the runways. The other thing that is being said that you have to pay attention to is that Assad was supposed to, he does have chemical weapons, okay? I'm pretty sure he does have chemical weapons. And apparently there was a leak to where when they were a lot basically on the ropes, a lot of the terrorists or ISIS got access to these weapons. The last chemical attack that was supposedly happened, I think it was in 2014, where it was all over, and and Obama put this whole red line bullshit, was that Assad had launched a chemical attack. The UN and everybody else and everybody who went in there said no, it was ISIS who basically staged the attack to make it look as if Assad attacked his own people. Why would he do that? So this has happened again, and now it is much more unlikely that that happened. However, there was apparently an agreement. I'm paraphrasing here, but apparently there was some kind of agreement that Assad would step down once ISIS was defeated, and that basically the theory that I'm hearing, and it's a plausible theory, but we'll see about that because it's really thin. And Trump has done a lot of unconventional things before. And he's played the media, by the way. He's played the media a few times. He's played them right into it. And I'm beginning to wonder if he's playing his political opponents now, and if he's playing China, if he's playing North Korea, because now what I had heard is that that air base also contained where the chemical weapons were that were originally supposed to be destroyed anyways, and that this whole thing, there was some high-level meetings between the United States and Syria. Now, you're not going to hear that you're not going to hear that in any traditional mainstream media. And of course you say, okay, yeah, okay, what conspiracy theories are you believing in now, Sean? Listen, there's a lot of supposed conspiracy theories, but there's also a lot of critical thinking, and there's a lot of reports. There are a lot of nut jobs out there, Nibiru. I can go on with all kinds of different ones that I say is total crap, like flat Earth, for example. I don't buy it. Moon landing, okay, whatever. Do I care? Not really. But I also know NASA's not totally 100% crap either, like some conspiracy theorists think they are. They think NASA's all crap and nothing's in space. Bull. There's plenty of proof to prove otherwise. There just is. I'm sorry, you don't get the satellite maps and what you get for the type. I follow weather. NASA exists. That's where the satellites come from that take the friggin' satellite pictures, you idiots. It's not CGI. And this kind of crap burns me because there's people who think they know, oh yeah, you're a conspiracy theorist or you're not. No, listen, I'm a critical thinker. I go beyond, I don't go through programming. I listen to what they have to say, but the bottom line is I think for themselves. I think these two are very right on. I like Lionel, and this is good. It's okay that because maybe he doesn't have all the information. Maybe this guy doesn't have all the information either. But I certainly suspect that he may be right, that Stefan Molyneux may be right, that Rand Paul may be right, Ron Paul, all these people I respect. And, Paul Joseph Watson, I gotta side with him on this one. So I hope that this is, but if this is an elaborate plan to basically end this whole ISIS thing, and to also use this against China and North Korea, China to basically get China. But the whole thing with North Korea is to get China because they're meeting with China. You see how the timing is? They Trump just met with China. There's so much timing on this that just and now they got the Supreme Court nominee that they wanted. So there's a lot of interesting timing going on. And why wouldn't Russia be, like, furious right now? They should be. But I think they're pandering. I think Russia knows what's going on here. I think they were given plenty of notice, whether it be high level or whatever. I believe there's a lot that more than meets the eye here. So, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna shut this one off for a minute, but I'm not going to be on here much going. I got to get going. But this is this was certainly a false flag. I don't know if the rest is going to be eventually proven as a false flag or not. Okay, so I was watching Stefan's report today. I'd like to see what's going on. I'm curious what Roger Stone has to say on this as well. Okay. That's nice. That's where I want to go. I don't know if he's going to have anything. Yeah, he's supposed to be a Russian. Oh, get away. April 5th, this is too old.
Trump is going to be Trump. This idea that you can make him into...
Alright, goodbye. Not enough recent updates, unfortunately. I don't see anything else up there right now. So I'm gonna. I think that's here's Paul Joseph Watson. And see now he's got a different theory. Alex Jones has a different theory, but he's posting all these different angles. Watch this.
What are we going to start World War III over Syria?
Well, half of you are going to absolutely hate me, whatever I say, so here goes. But for a start, I saw this coming. A month ago, I tweeted this. If there's one area Trump will fuck up, it will be in foreign policy. Half of his advisors are CFR globalists. That swamp was not drained. So here's a list of people and entities who support Trump's airstrike on Syria. Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Nancy Pelosi, Angela Merkel, the mainstream media.
They are beautiful pictures.
Neocons and ISIS. You have to admit that's not great company to keep. And you can argue, as people have, that this is 4D chess, that Trump is engaging in a show of strength to humiliate Obama over his red line and dismantle claims that he's conspiring with the Russians. But those same Russia-obsessive people are now attacking Trump because he gave Putin an hour's advance warning. You're never gonna please these people, so why pander to them? But beyond the theories, here's the reality. That airbase that Trump just bombed was protecting a nearby Christian town from being overrun by jihadists. The predominantly Christian city of Mardeh in northern Hama has been under attack by rebels every day. Crippling the Syrian army in that region has now made it all but inevitable that that town will be overrun and occupied by jihadist rebels. The airstrike directly helped jihadist rebels and put Christians at risk. Now, to be clear, the chemical weapons attack was infinitely worse than Trump's airstrike in terms of human tragedy. This was a horrific event. Children died, and we're not disregarding the scale of the horror by questioning who was responsible. Killing children is dreadful, but no one seemed to care when children were killed during a US military raid in Yemen. But we've just been told to swallow the Assad did it explanation provided by the White Helmets an organisation many have accused of having direct ties with the rebels, with no impartial investigation whatsoever, despite the fact that we know rebels possess chemical weapons, and we know they were almost certainly behind the 2013 chemical weapons attack in Ghouta, despite the fact that Assad and Syria supposedly gave up their chemical weapons. And why would Assad launch a completely self-defeating chemical weapons attack less than a week after Rex Tillerson had said that regime change was no longer on the agenda?
I think the status and the longer term status of President Assad will be decided by the Syrian people.
Why would Assad infuriate the world by gassing women and children when ISIS are on the run and on the verge of being...
So yeah, that's what I was saying about that. Now, once again, Paul Joseph Watson has defended Donald Trump just like InfoWars has, and many people. So don't get your all worried about it. I'm deeply concerned about this, but we gotta wait and see. I think we have to wait and see. Next 24 or 48 hours. If it escalates into further action against Syria, you know Trump has been compromised. If it's just this and something else benefits from it, then you know that this was a strategic plan. I'm not that gullible. So, but then again, Trump has always said he's not going to broadcast or tell you what he's going to do as far as so the enemy doesn't know. So who knows? Maybe there's something going on here. And who is the enemy? I guess ISIS is the enemy. I'm not against his interest in increasing the military budgets and decreasing everything else. He should be decreasing everything at this point because the United States is practically broke. But anyways, I'll keep going on for a few more minutes before I gotta get going here.
Defeated. It makes absolutely no sense. But now T-Rex says that regime change is back on the table.
The process by which Assad would leave is something that I think requires an international community effort, both to first defeat ISIS within Syria, to stabilize the Syrian country, to avoid further civil war, and then to work collectively with our partners around the world through a political process that would lead to Assad leaving.
So will you and President Trump organize an international coalition to remove Assad?
Those steps are underway.
Okay, so defeat ISIS and then topple Assad, so that ISIS can then come back and take over the country. Great idea! Here's what can't be denied. Destabilizing secular regimes in the Middle East, whatever the reason given, has always proven disastrous. Iraq, Libya, Syria. It led to hundreds of thousands of dead and displaced people. Dead US troops, more global terrorism, a refugee crisis, the rise of ISIS. And those of you who think this is a one-off limited strike are being incredibly naive. Tillerson said it's about regime change. And given what happened last night, you can bet they're going to follow through on their word. Regime change means more death, more chaos, a vacuum filled by jihadists, more terrorism, more refugees. We've been down this road before. This is what Trump said in 2013. Don't attack Syria, an attack that will bring nothing but trouble for the US focus on making our country strong and great again. So what happened to that? When did it stop being about America first? Crooked Hillary Clinton's foreign interventions unleashed ISIS in Syria, Iraq and Libya. She is reckless and dangerous. And this intervention helps ISIS. It helps the jihadist rebels. It helps Al-Qaeda. They're all out celebrating it. Hillary Clinton called for it in the first place. Look, this is what Trump campaigned against. This is one of the main reasons why you voted for him. To stop the US becoming entangled in Middle Eastern quagmires. And I know there's a huge portion of you out there who will completely disagree with me and who will support Trump whatever he does. But I think there's a real chance that Trump has been surrounded and manipulated by neocons and the deep state. I mean, just look at his foreign policy advisors. Half of them, at least half of them, are Council on Foreign Relations members. They're globalists. But even so, I still think there's time to reach out to Trump and let him know that he's following a disastrous course. If Trump vehemently indicates that he won't bow to pressure to impose no-fly zones and initiate regime change, then that will be a positive development. So let's keep the dialogue open. Let's not jump down each other's throats. And let's try to avoid another catastrophe in the Middle East.
So yeah, that's about it, guys. There you have it. I agree with what Joseph Watson's saying. I also believe potentially I could have gone with what Alex Jones was saying as well. Just running out of time, but I got to get going. So yeah, like I said, guys, you guys got to be aware. You know, if you're just watching TV and you're watching the newspapers, look at how they've been trashing Trump, and all of a sudden they're all joyous and gleeful because of this. And yet the main people who supported him, his core, are suddenly very, very concerned. Not everybody. There's some, some crazy right-wing people in the right side who reluctantly supported him because he's on the quote-unquote right side as opposed to the left, who are great. Like McCain and the Paul Ryan groups and all that other garbage. There's some neocons and there's, neoliberals or whatever you want to call them. There's some like really bad people on both sides, okay? I think there's some good people on both sides as well. I think there's some good honest liberals out there. I think there's some good honest Republicans or whatever in the States. Canada's totally different, but same thing, just different party names. But anyways, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back on Sunday going back to the train stuff if this thing doesn't occupy me, but I'll be watching this as much as I can on the weekend, and I'll have to have a talk with my son because he's just getting into this. I want to see if he knows or if he knows anything about what happened. I'll have to explain that to him as best I can, so wish me luck. Anyways, guys, comment, suggestions, post, whatever you want to talk about. Let's keep the dialogue open, keep it civil. Again, I don't know everything that's going on. I honestly, at this point, I really don't know yet. I still support Trump. If this is more of a false flag, and that there's a rhyme and reason, and he's not trying to bring the United States or other countries back to war or starting an escalation, then I'm all for it. Bravo, good chess move, but something's not right about this. I just got a bad feeling that he's either been compromised or he's been led down the wrong path or he's just not as smart as, well, I guess he looks. I ain't saying much, but anyways, I still support him for now. We'll wait and see, but keeping our eyes and ears on the prize at the moment. We'll hopefully get some more answers very shortly, but keep watching. Don't watch the news. I mean, listen and watch the news, but whatever you do, check the sources, look deeper, see what people are talking about, check out links, follow the rabbit holes. Just be careful how far you go down. That's all I got to say. I'll see you on Sunday.